Hey there, today we're going to talk about stop trading time for dollars and the top three mistakes that sales pros are making. And it's keeping them stuck at 10, 15K a month, while others are building $25,000, $50,000 a month recurring incomes. So let me start with something that's going to kind of tick off the sales trainers out there. Working harder isn't your problem. In fact, it's keeping you broke. Paul, don't say that. You're hurting my feelings. That's nasty. Well, here's the reality, okay? When we focus on the wrong things, we're basically just busy monkeys. Busy monkey, right? Like I was that way for many years. I'm not being offensive here. I'm just saying, like, step outside and look at the reality. And it's keeping people broke. It's not hard work. That's not your issue. So I've been tracking sales pros for 18 months. The ones building real wealth, they're the ones that are working less than you just because of the model they're in. If I'm driving a Ferrari, and if you're driving a Ferrari and I'm driving a Ford Escort, you're going to win hands down just because of the superior vehicle that you're in. Well, what we do to make money is our vehicle. And if somebody is in a superior vehicle, they're just going to make more and it's going to be more effective for them. Not because they're better, not because they're smarter, just because they're in a better vehicle. Does that make sense? So they discovered something that hustle culture just cannot tell you. And that is this: every hour you trade for dollars is an hour that you can never get back. Every hour you trade for dollars is an hour that you can never get back. Meanwhile, the top 1% are having one conversation that pays them for the next 36 months. One convo, money times 36. One convo paying for the next 36 months. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm exposing the three mistakes that keep brilliant salespeople stuck on the hamster wheel, just repeating, and the simple leverage model that breaks that and sets you free into this recurring system. Okay? So here's the first mistake. Number one, uno, right? The beginning, the start. Let me go ahead and make this a little prettier for y'all. So we're going to do this, I think. All right. So here's the number one mistake that everybody makes. And the mistake is you think more calls equals more money. And that's a delusion, my friend. And it's because it's a blind spot. So don't feel bad. It's just something that we don't see. And let me explain it to you. You've been programmed to believe that success equals activity. More dials, more demos, more closes. But here's what happens. You close 10 deals this month. You're like doing the happy dance. Yay! Right? But then what happens? Next month, bam! Start back at zero. You wake up on the 1st, you celebrate on the 30th, you wake up on the 1st with a big fat zero. You're not building a business, you're renting your success month to month. You're renting your success month to month from your current job or business. Okay? Can we have some real talk? Y'all aren't going to throw, dead chickens at me or something? I'm here to help you think. That's my goal. I'd rather piss you off than keep you broke. So let's keep going. So the next thing then is, how does this show up? Well, we start from zero every month. First equals $0. Okay. Number two, income drops the second you take your foot off the gas, right? As soon as you stop the activity, boom, income goes down. As soon as you stop it, because you haven't built an asset, you haven't built anything recurring. Your income is directly tied to your input, your energy. You're sick, income drops. You want to take a vacation, income drops. Not only that, if you got a boss that's hounding at you, whenever your income is dropping, typically it's someone else is yapping at you. So not only are you feeling crappy about your income being dropped, you got some dude or dudette squawking at you. You can't take a vacation without your pipeline drying. You're working 60 hours just to maintain, right? You're putting all this effort in, and you're just maintaining. Paul, are you making more money or less money this year than you did last year? Right? We're in whatever part of the year you're seeing this video at. I'm recording it beginning middle of August. How much money have you made this year? How much money have you made compared to last year? Compared to 5 years ago or 3 years ago? Okay? So what's the fix? Real simple, y'all. Here's the fix. You ready? Fix. Stop selling one-time transactions and start selling recurring transformations. Stop. Stop selling one-time transactions and start selling recurring transformations. One conversation that includes everything. System is installed. It's managed. The business is making money off of the solution you've provided. And you can go and have the next conversation that's going to produce recurring income for you. One conversation, quarterly strategy sessions if you want to upsell and enroll them in more value. 5K setup fee, 10K setup fee, 1K a month, 3K a month versus whatever this is. This is superior in every way, shape, or form. Because you get upfront, let's just say your backbone is made of balsa wood and you only are comfortable charging 5K setup fees. I don't know why that's going there. And then let's say that you are getting a $2,000 per month retainer. What's that? That's 24K plus 5, 29K. One conversation. How does that compare to what you're doing now? That's the fix. Okay? So you stop selling one-time transactions and start selling recurring transformations. Okay, mistake number 2. Dose. Right? Whoa. Gotta love that. So number 2, the Superman complex. Right? Superman is in the shows. It's actually a pretty cool movie. I think the dog stole the deal. Right? He's out here flying, woo, smiling, his cape waving. The Superman complex. The problem. You think because you can do everything, you should do everything. You're the closer, you're the lead gen, you're the account manager, the fulfillment. You got to manage them, the customer support rep. You've become the bottleneck in your own income system, right? Just because you can wear a bunch of different hats doesn't mean you should be wearing a bunch of different hats. I think you understand that there's leverage, right, in doing stuff, and that there's certain hats you wear that are going to make you more money, like closing deals makes a lot of money, and that when you're not doing the thing that's making you money, you're now working at minimum wage. So how this shows up is you're spending 80% of your time on $20 tasks. 80% of time on $20 tasks. That's no way to make money, my friend. You can't scale beyond a certain threshold of clients or deals. If you're doing anything with delivery, if you're involved with that at all, that's eating into your sales time and your closing time. And what you're doing now is you're trading your expertise for execution. You're trading your expertise for execution. And what you should be doing is you should be staying in your lane and closing more deals because you're working a superior model where the team who is doing the fulfillment is doing it with excellence, and you don't have to worry about that. So what that means then is you can cross off this minimum wage activity and you can focus on the highest leverage activity, which is going back over here, having these conversations that spiral and pay you month over month over month over month. And then you can stack these. Okay? So, what's the fix? The fix is the fulfillment freedom formula. F, F, F. Fancy way to say you build it once, you leverage it forever. You create systems and frameworks for your conversion, and then you pass it off to a fulfillment team filled with level 3 devs who are the best and who make sure that the systems are delivering value and maintained. So if APIs change, if something shifts, they're on top of it, they fix it, or they stay in front of it so it doesn't break, so that the client, your client, is getting maximum value and making money. When they're making money, they're paying you. So if you decide that you're going to wear all these hats and get into the fulfillment game and you drop the ball, you've just constrained your income. You've just shot yourself in the foot, because anytime they're having issues or volatility, they're less likely to keep paying you. They're more likely to look for a competitor. So fulfillment is income insurance. Fulfillment equals insurance. That's a good one. I wasn't planning on saying that. That just kind of popped out. Once in a while, that'll happen. Okay, so fulfillment equals income insurance, right? When they're making money, they're happy as a clam. Why wouldn't they be, right? So you want to make sure that you're not Superman, okay? Be Superman in your lane. That's where the money's at. Remember, you have everything you need to be extremely successful. All you need to learn how to do is not chase shiny objects, quite frankly. And of course, you need to know how to talk to some qualified people, and you need to know how to get your stuff fulfilled, and you need to know just a little bit about a great offer that's going to take flight in this market. Beyond that, you've got everything you need. You are already fully equipped to prosper with AI. Okay? Third thing, the consulting trap escape plan, right? Mistake number 3, the problem. Everybody thinks consulting is the answer. Okay? Now, listen to me, okay? There's a nuance here. I'll charge $5,000 a month for my expertise. Notice, we're trading time and knowledge for money. Notice what we're not doing. Invert it. We're not trading systems, automation, and AI for money. You want to trade systems, automation, and AI for money, because you want the systems and the automation and the AI to deliver the value. Money comes from value. That's it. If you build based on anything else, you're building on sand. When you build based on value delivered equals money earned and deserved, you're building on rock, right? A workman is worthy of their wage. A good one, twice as much. So when you build based on systems, automation, and AI, you are now planting seeds that you're not in charge of delivering the value. You're setting it and you're forgetting it. You're converting some time into a recurring value delivery mechanism. When you're a quote unquote consultant, now you are the bottleneck in your own income. Because for you to make money, you've got to trade your time in the form of knowledge that delivers the value. So you don't want to be the one delivering the value. You want to let the machines deliver the value. because they're better at it and because it's a superior vehicle. So everyone thinks consulting is the answer. I'll charge $5,000 a month for my expertise, but consulting expertise is just expensive hourly work in disguise. You're still trading time, you're just at a higher rate, and your clients expect you to personally show up for everything. How it shows up. Clients call you at all hours. Scope creep becomes your nightmare. What's scope creep? Real simple. It's when you agree you're going to do this, right? And then you end up doing this because they've asked for this and you don't have a productized offer. You don't have any guardrails to prevent that. So now you're making the same amount of money, but you're spending twice as much time. And that's not very fun for you or the client, because the client, when they ask you to do something, what they don't want is you to say, yeah, I can do that, but I got to charge you. They don't want to be nickeled and dimed. So how you solve that is you have a productized offering that is installed with very clear scope, a very clear benefit box of value. And then, of course, if there's other things, they know from day one that you can provide them, but they're going to have to pay for them. It's a lot better than nickel and diming them to death. So scope creep becomes your nightmare. You become the chief everything officer. Now you're wearing a million hats. You can't vacation without your clients freaking out. You never feel like you have any downtime. Your evenings, your weekends, your entire life is taken over by this income stream. And now you feel like you're the tail and not the head, or said differently, you feel like you're a slave. And that's what happens to most business owners. They feel like the business runs them. They don't run the business. And that's what we're trying very hard to prevent you from doing. Don't let the income run you. You run the income. And again, you've got everything you need. You don't need to learn anything else. Seriously, you know how to sell. That's the most valuable skill set in this system. So what we do is we partner with people like you. We leverage your skill set. You leverage our offer and our fulfillment, and we make a lot of money together. So if you'd like to hear about how that works, book a call. There should be a link somewhere. It's 15 minutes. Keep your card in the freezer. You can't buy anything. You can't get started even if you want. It's a screening call, us screening you, you screening us. We also have a free Skool group where we map out our entire system of how to generate leads, how to convert leads, how to fulfill leads. It's all in there. It's free. There should be a link somewhere, so check that out if you want. But the point is the consulting trap escape plan. So what's the fix? It's very simple. 3-layer leverage model. So 3-layer leverage. Okay? Number 1, foundation. You sell a clear outcome. Foundation. You sell a very clear outcome that is delivering value without your time. Okay? Clear outcome. Next. I gotta get this line size down. It's like fat as hell here. Number 2, framework. Framework. Package the delivery into a mechanism that is a repeatable system that delivers value. And remember, with AI and automation, the value compounds. The system gets smarter as it works. That's, in my opinion, one of the greatest levers we have with AI that we've never seen before in the history of the world, is it's self-optimizing, if it's done right. So that's the framework. And then the third thing here is the fulfillment. Right? And that is like, get it done with excellence. And you want to partner with specialists who execute while you sell. Okay? And that's what we do, right? So an example of how this flows is you have an initial call with a prospective business owner. Okay? You have an initial call with a prospective business owner. During that initial call, well, what do you usually do during your initial sales calls? Right? Isn't there some form of discovery? Because to prescribe before you diagnose is malpractice, is it not? So we have to have a discovery. So what we do is we have a discovery. Okay? Discovery. And the discovery is based on metrics, financials, because the language of the business owner is the P and the L. Yeah? The P and the L. So then what happens is, after the discovery, you pop them into a demo. The demo is all about tipping the balance of belief from skeptic to believer, right? Because when they start, they're on the skeptic side. Now, during the demo, what happens is the business owner experiences some profit because the system's working for them. Yeah? So that's part of the way that it builds some belief. And the other part of the way that it builds belief is they're hearing it, right? Interact with their clients. They're seeing the data. They're getting feedback on its performance. They're seeing a lift. It's solving the thing it's supposed to solve. So now what you have is you have a profit recovery plan where you basically combine all of these elements and you waterfall them into one presentation where now, because the person believes, you can talk about the numbers, you can talk about the income impact and profit impact, and they're going to actually believe you this time. And then you just tell them, say, hey, worst case, what do you think this could do to the business? Like, we've only done this one thing, but if we do these 5, 7 things, I think it could add $100,000 to our bottom line every month. Cool. Best case, what do you think it could do? Honest to God, I think it could double it. Cool. So what do you think the investment should be for a system that, worst case, puts $100,000 a month into your pocket over the course of a year? That's 1.2 million. Over the course of 3 years, that's 3.6. What do you think the investment should be in that sort of a system? And now you negotiate your upfront payment and your monthly recurring. And again, if you're doing it the way we teach you, it's a very defined outcome that they're getting started with. There's no scope creep. We're not doing a little bit of this. We're not doing a little bit of that. We're not doing a little bit of this. And this system is designed to get them about 90% of the way there to optimizing their profits, right? Using fundamental business design, fundamental business profit engineering. And then if they want more, we can talk about more, but we talk about more later. We get them up and running. We get them value. We get them delivery of monetization, which makes them happy, right? And happy is good because then they keep paying you. So at least the way we do it, you sell, and you can also sell that upfront payment on monthly payments using financing. So instead of it being 5 or 10 or 20K upfront, it can be a monthly payment. Then you literally fill out a form with about 4 pieces of information, and then our devs go to work. They execute. And then what do? You go next. And you perhaps go do another deal, or you chase your spouse around the house when the kids are at school. And that's it. And then if there's a question, the client will reach out to you. You'll support a ticket. You're in a Slack channel with the devs. So there's a complete feedback loop. It's your business. We're just acting as your white label fulfillment behind the scenes. That way you own the client, you own the cash flow, you own the relationship. We can show you a whole bunch of stuff to sell and offer them that delivers value, or you can go find your own stuff to offer them to deliver value. They're your client. The sky's the limit. So you go do that. You go have a conversation, 30-minute conversation, 30-minute conversation, figure another half an hour in there, setting up the demo, talking to them about that, getting all that coordinated, answering some questions, doing the little bit of AI work to generate the profit recovery plan. So let's say 90 minutes all in to convert into a $30, $50, $100,000 annual contract. So let's take a look at the return on this. 90 in, 50K out. Now you see why we say those $20 an hour tasks are an absolute waste of your time. Because the only reason this converts is because of your sales ability. Low sales ability equals low money. High sales ability equals high money. That's it. So the lever that you have to increase your income is, number one, increase your clarity of what you're doing. Number two, stop looking at all these shiny objects and go double down on your unique skill set. Number three, expand your confidence on how valuable this solution is to SMBs. Because then when you approach them, you'll start at the top when you're discussing your fees and not at the bottom. And most people, they start at zero. We don't start at zero. We start at whatever they think the investment should be for a system that produces $100,000 a month, 1.2 a year, 3.6 over the course of 3 years. In their own words, that's the starting point. So with this being said, here's your reflection question. What would change in your life if you knew every sales conversation you had today would still be paying you 3 years from now? What would change in your life if you knew that every sales conversation you had today would be paying you 1, 2, 3 years from now? So I've shown you the model, right? Models without implementation are crap. Ideas don't deposit. Ideas don't deposit. Ideas are, there's a million ideas. Where the rubber meets the road and what deposits into your bank is implementation and execution. So models without implementation are just expensive theory. The difference between the 1% and everybody else isn't knowledge. It's having the model and the fulfillment structure to deliver without doing the work yourself. Because if you say, I'm going to handle doing the work myself, now you're taking yourself out of the thing that's most profitable to you. That's why the 1% don't do that. The 1% stay focused on the thing that's most profitable to them. So again, if you're serious about breaking free from the hamster wheel, we can absolutely help you, right? We eat $20,000 a month for breakfast. That's so easy. I'm not saying you'll do it. There's no guarantees. There's no promises. 50K, that's lunch. 100K a month, a little bit of dinner. Totally doable. The market is wide open right now. This is the best time ever. Don't let this go by and think to yourself, shoot, I should have got on the AI wave. Now is the time, and we can help. So if you want our help, or you want to see what the help looks like, because we can't guarantee you we're going to select you to work with. We don't work with morons, bless their heart. Not saying you're a moron. I'm sure you're not. But we work with certain people. And, so the purpose of the call is for us to check you out, for you to check us out. But again, I encourage you, in our Skool group, we've mapped all this out. We give you about 90% of it. Everything from the conversion process to the ads to how the fulfillment works to what that box is of the program delivery, the productized offer. So my point is reach out. Let's connect if this sounds good. And if not, get off the channel and go find something else that does, because you spending time listening to YouTube videos ain't going to deposit. What will deposit is you spending time to listen to YouTube videos enough to where you find a program and a person and a team in a model that you believe in, and then you laser lock. And you don't look to the right, you don't look to the left, you don't chase shiny objects, you don't believe the grass is greener over there. The grass is greener where you water it and where you execute. Period. And I can tell you that this model works. I don't know if you'll do it, right? But it's working. It's working extraordinarily well for the people that just work it. And it's pretty simple, as you can tell. So that's it for today. I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you soon. In our Skool group, we do a live at the time of this recording, we're doing it every Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern, where I'll share some stuff. I'll answer some questions. So feel free to join us there, and you have a blessed rest of your day.